Hello YouTube, Joe here. I figured today, let's have a look at the Dyson. Who's got a Dyson out there that isn't performing like it used to? I'll bet there are many hands up in the crowd. Super old models, but the idea is the people who have the older models are going to have the most problems. So I decided let's look at the older stuff because the newer stuff shouldn't have the problems these will. And with that said, let's have a look. Let's start with this one here. Most people know that it's pretty simple to empty the dump bin by just emptying this and opening this up like this. But I just noticed somebody not that long ago who didn't know that you could push on this, rotate it forward, and it just comes off. At which point you can now clean it out really good inside. So I'm sure you can see the clumps that are trapped behind that screen. They're everywhere. And what that does is it creates a whole lot of turbulence going through there, and I mean a lot, and considerable blockage. So now your vacuum's not going to work nearly as good as it used to. The next thing we got to look at are filters. And I don't know too many people who are in a hurry to change and mess around with these filters. People just want to use their vacuum. But there's a simple fix to playing the game. If you don't want to replace them, not only can you put them in a sink full of a considerable amount of dishwashing detergent like Dawn. I would literally use half a shot and maybe, 2 quarts of water at most. And then you're doing this inside the sink, but you're afraid you're going to ruin what's going on inside here. So if you really want to clean these things out good, get yourself a screwdriver, and you're going to want to there's 3 tabs that hold this inner piece to this outer. And this is some pretty darn flexible plastic. What you're going to want to do is push, let me see if you can see this perfectly. You're going to want to push down on the lower lip, if you will, to get that tab to move inward. All right? Move over to your other side, push the part inward, and now your top is gone. Pull out the liner, and typically you're going to find some real dirt inside there, and there shouldn't be any. But the reason that dirt gets in there is from using your vacuum when it's way too full. So then it can't help itself, if you will. So everybody tries not to do that, but it just happens. They have such little containers, they hold 2 teaspoons of dust, right? Okay, so after you have this open, now you can really, not only can you tap the dirt out of it, and no, I didn't do this for that's unbelievable, for the video. But this is a problem because now the inside is impregnated with all that. So it's just time to clean it out really good. Just be careful while you're squeezing on it that you don't mess up your glue joints that are done up here at the top and at the bottom. So the most of your work should be done in here, if you will. Okay? When it's all said and done, you can blot it dry with a towel or some paper towel or something, and then let it dry completely. Afterward, it's really simple to put this in, and I would put it in different than it was, just to hold the structure back from the thing caving in. Then it's really simple to put this together. You just align your 3 tabs, make sure it's fully in, if you will. Align your 3 tabs and just start to push one in. Rotate around, make sure it's ready to go, and just push it. You'll know it's done perfectly when you can rotate it left and right like that, and you can see the little ears inside moving. You'll see a nice even mark all the way around the outside showing it's in all the way. Now your vacuum can do some breathing, and you didn't spend a dime with the filter. The next game is you're going to have to go outside with your air compressor and give these a shot, each individually, each one, to get all that crud out of the inside of there. You don't want that. When you're all said and done, run your airline tip in at this angle you're seeing me do here, And that'll be cleaning out the inside of every one of these tubes. Now you can from the bottom, I don't know if the camera's going to see this though. You can look in here and actually see daylight in the orange model with the orange head on it because it's kind of semi-clear. And you can tell that some of them are open pretty good, but there are others that are a little bit plugged. The inside of here can also give a shot, but be careful when you give that a shot, lots is going to come barking out. So put on some safety glasses, you guys, when you're doing this. But I'm telling you, your vacuum's going to work like new, because my other model here, well, let's just say I don't keep up on it as good as I should, and it was really loaded inside. And those little vortexes that are down inside of here had all kinds of buildup all around them, so they couldn't have been working right, let's just say that. So once you clean it all up with some air, putting this all back together is a pretty easy gig. On the back of here, you'll notice there are some contacts. Well, that's what talks to the front of the hose here and makes your electric products work at the end. It wouldn't hurt to take a Q-tip and a little alcohol and clean those off. I can see these got a little crud on them. And then do the same to the part it mates to. You'll see it's way deep down inside here, but a Q-tip should get in there. And try to clean those out a little bit from the dust and crud that's in there. It'll just help you down the road. From there, you'll notice that the front of this has a tab built in the very center, right dead center. That has to match up with this tab. Okay? So after you clean this all off, all the way around, this has to marry the front of that tab first. Once it marries that tab, it should just click up. Then from there, it's closed. Now all you need to do, drop in your new filter after it's dry. And the vacuum should work unbelievably different for you. Now for this one here, it's basically the same, a little bit different. This one still comes out as such. It still has these in it. The only real difference here is how this one opens and how you take it out. This one stops, opens the bottom, and if you want to go further, you just need to push on one or the other of these tabs, or both, and out it comes. All right? And then the same is true for this one. The inside needs to be cleaned out. You need to blow through these here, these fine stainless steel holes. You need to go and do a little bit of cleaning with the airline at this direction, so that, because that's where all the air comes in, and then it goes out through down below to come out here. So just got to make sure that all those are nice and clean. And again, these things work fantastic. Now this one here, I've done a little mod to that I liked. They decided to close off the outlet with these two extra stringers on each side. And it really restricts the flow out. So I'm like, were they afraid somebody was gonna, crawl in there? I don't get it. Just don't take the middle one out. You need that for support on both ends. But anyway, I decided to do that mod long ago. Here is another issue, believe it or not, that is slowing down your vacuum from working. You'll notice if you don't have this on, your vacuum's got considerably more vacuum. And you'll have quite a bit of air coming out of here. The deal is this, though. With a filter on it, of course it's going to slow it down somewhat. But the difference is, if you can see color inside there and it's dark, or dark gray, or even gray, chances are you can see down inside it too, and see that it's discolored too, and it really should be replaced. But the game with them was they started out at $50 to replace this cartridge, and who's going to do that? I'm not paying $50 for it. So I'll do all kinds of goofy stuff. I'll blow the wrong direction with an airline in here and just watch the crud come out of here. But I still haven't replaced it. It's a bad idea. So now I'm going to finally break down and order them, because this thing's pretty old and I want it to work at top notch. And I do know that when I take it off, it works considerably better. It should. But I guess what I'm saying is I'm slowing down its progress based on having a dirty filter. So that's really most of what it's about. Now, the real good thing to do here is to clean this all out with a little bit of silicone on a piece of paper towel. All this slop in here, and especially this gasket. Make this all nice and red again with silicone sprayed on a paper towel, roundy round until you get it all nice and clean. And once that's clean, and after this has been cleaned, give this a little coating too. Paper towel, silicone, make sure it's good and, I should say, coated, not soaked in any way. Go around the inside of here too. And do the bottom of this just a little bit around the inside of here. And then I make sure that this seal is cleaned up too along the bottom, and I do that with a Q-tip with some silicone on it. You can also do that on the inside of this piece to make sure that that gasket stays real nice. Silicone and rubber love each other, and it will slide on very nicely. Next is putting it all back together, and that is a pretty simple gig. On this one, you simply line up the tracks. There's 2 tracks on either side, on the ears, if you will. And those are going to be lined up inside of these ears here. So once you line those up, and of course it's hard to see, well, it worked pretty good. Once you hear that click, it's indexed and it can go down. Once it's down all the way, it will lock. Put your parts together and your vacuum is 100% ready to go, unbelievably clean, and it will perform so much better than it did. You're back to normal. You guys let me know what you think. Take care.